What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talks, and because here for movie news, movie reviews, and more. Good news, I got my computer back, so we're able to
Yay.
record on time. Let's go. So we're back, we're in action, we're full fighting men, and we are jumping into episode 113. This one's going to be a little bit different, so we're changing it back to the original format where we give you a little bit of movie news, and Lawson gets angry at movies. And then we've got Smile. He's
Mm.
not going to be smiling after movie news, but we got Smile 2. We got the Woman of the Hour. It's a debut, a directorial debut. I should have said that first
Yep.
rather than just saying director debut. And then we've got
Yeah.
the originally titled The Red. So Lawson just told me this, so I'm not going to take credit because I can see him steam coming out of his ears right now, and
Oh
he won't
yeah,
be
real bad
smiling.
that you stole the credit for that one.
Yeah, I did. Because he's originally called the Red because the American audience wouldn't know that what a red kangaroo is. I feel like they would, but
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? It is
Supposedly not.
Rippy and is in lieu of Skippy. So yeah, don't worry
Yeah, I
about
didn't
it.
pick that up either until I was like partway through it. I was like, Skippy,
Oh,
Rippy.
for real. He actually makes
No,
a like a full line to it. He's like, "Hey
he
there,
does,
Skippy."
yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Skip.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure
Yeah,
does.
hooray. But do you know what we're here for? We're here for Spider-Man
Movie news.
4, starring Tom Holland, set for summer 2026 release. You know what? I like
26.
Spider-Man. Even though I think Tom Holland isn't the greatest Spider-Man, I think Tobey Maguire was the greatest Spider-Man. Even though they tried to put him in as a 40-year-old into a high school setting, whatever, I still reckon he's the best Spider-Man. But
Haven't we
whatever.
said that Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire's the best Peter Parker?
Correct, correct. Yeah. But William Dafoe is the Green Goblin. Oh my good golly. Oh,
Willem.
nope.
It's not his name.
It is. He changed it legally.
Yeah, just for
Mm,
you. Yeah, Willem Dafoe. I know he is Green Goblin's great.
yep. Yeah, so that was
I
sick.
still laugh at Topher Grace's Venom though. Venom 3.
Venom. Oh my God.
Venom gonna get on. He was, yeah, that was
Well,
awful.
guess what? Next week we are watching Venom: The Last Dance, so stay tuned for that one.
I didn't watch the first one.
Well,
I don't care about Venom. I don't care about Spider-Man. I don't care about superheroes anymore. None of it's interesting. It's the same shit.
well, you're gonna
It's
watch
just
Venom.
paint by numbers. Ooh,
Mm,
I'm so
mhm.
excited.
Venom, Venom,
Venom.
Venom.
I'm gonna get him. Is this the third Venom? Is this the third, second?
We got Venom, and then we got the Venom with Carnage. I think it's the third because we had
Third. Okay.
Woody Harrelson play Carnage. I think he did a really good job. But
I
unfortunately,
believe you.
not having the R rating definitely hurts the franchise because Venom's so cool. Carnage is absolutely incredible, and the Carnage could have just been like full Carnage, like murdering people because he like the symbiote takes over a serial killer, like, and then they would just played it safe. Annoying, but anyway, we've got
Three
Star
Venoms,
Wars.
2018, 2020, 2024. There you go.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't know. Yep.
yep. We got Star Wars Ray movie starring Daisy Ridley loses a
Oh,
screenwriter,
really?
Stephen Knight. I didn't even know
I
she
didn't
was
even
getting.
know.
Actually, I didn't know she was
No.
getting her own one.
She
Look,
had her own three.
I think she did all right, but she was kind of like a bit of a blank slate for me, like so that anyone can sort of like
The
relate to
problem
her, I
with those
guess.
movies were never her. The character was never the problem. The casting was never the problem. The fucking writing was the problem.
No, the high pants were the problem. Put me off straight away.
You're like, no, they're the best trilogy ever, but the high pants threw me off.
Yeah, no, you're done. You're done. So
Sure thing.
whatever, whatever. We've got an Alien Romulus sequel and secret new Predator movie in the works at 20th Century Studios. Bom, bom,
Predator,
bom.
really?
Yeah, Predator's had a big revamp lately. So they had Prey, which was actually not too bad. Besides, um, uh, a, a person not as strong as Arnie and manhandling a Predator, and I was like, okay, okay. Like it was actually a good film, but that put me off. You can't get rid of the strength of Arnie and then put anyone in there. You can't do it. You can't show disrespect to the man.
No opinion.
Whatever.
I don't even know what Predator movies I've seen.
Uh,
I think
uh,
I've seen the original Arnie one. That's literally it.
yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. And then we've got the Substance will stream on Mumbi this Halloween. I don't even know what streaming service that is.
What was it?
Mumbi.
What's it called?
Mubi. I don't know what that is, but it's actually a fantastic
Mubi, I
film.
guess.
Go see
It
it.
is
Go see it. It's
easy
definitely,
five.
definitely, ooh, a five. I don't think you gave it a five. Or I'm pretty sure you gave it a 4.5 or a four. I don't think you
I've got
did.
a five in my records. I must have given it a five.
Oh, well, that must have been me. I don't
You gave
know.
it 4.5.
Yeah.
On my list here, I've given it a five.
Uh,
On my, where is it? On my letterbox, I gave it a 4.5. I'm not sure what I gave it. You know what? Change that to a five. There we go.
there you go.
Five now.
Oh, Marvel Studio removes Blade movie from the release calendar. Mm.
Oh, don't care.
Oh, all right. All right.
I don't know. Blade was always just funny for the camp. It was,
Blade was great. I love Blade.
yeah, Blade 1 wasn't a bad movie. Blade 3 was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Do you know there has been 70 years of Godzilla? So that it has a new tribute video. That's 70 years.
There you
That's
go.
crazy, yeah.
A long time.
Crazy. Then we've got the Hunt for Gollum won't be two films, but a second Lord of the Rings film is incoming. So interesting.
Man,
I don't.
I don't care anymore.
I feel like
Yeah,
they're
Lord of the
ruining that
Rings.
franchise. Like,
Yeah, beating a dead horse.
yeah, like The Hobbit didn't need to be three films. Could have been really good in like a longer one movie. It just need to be a standalone.
Yeah, go watch the Tolkien edit, the 4 hour cut. It's
Yeah,
fucking great.
yeah,
It's
go see it.
polished. That's how it should be.
Hmm.
I was
And
arguing with a student
then,
during the week, and they're like,
mm,
"Nah, it was great. That's the extended story was fucking brilliant." I was like, "No,
no, it
I
wasn't.
think you're cooked. Like, I don't think that's fucking accurate at all. I don't think anyone agrees with you."
No. And Mickey 17 is looking like it's going to be very, very cool. We'll definitely be watching it. But Robert Patterson based his Mickey 17 and 18 voices on Ren and Stimpy, a childhood classic for both of
Oh,
us.
really?
Mm, it's pretty cool.
What? His what? His
His
Mickey?
his voice. So you know how he's cloned
For what?
in this one? Mickey 17 is that the oddball satire sci-fi one where he gets cloned.
Have we
Do you
spoken about
remember?
this already?
We have. You'll see it.
Okay. Yeah. Looks familiar now. All right.
Yep. So we haven't spoken about it, but
Oh, that's right. Bong Joon-ho. Yeah.
yep. So his voice is he's based it on Ren and Stimpy. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Curious to see how, but
Who knows?
interesting.
That's pretty cool. But now that you're smiling,
He's great.
let's jump into Smile 2. So,
Mile.
do you have the ratings for the first one? Because I think we were
You mean?
like, what?
Oh, we gave it.
Yeah. So the
Uh,
first,
yeah. I do. Do you
yeah.
want them? Would you want them? Yeah.
Well, we first heard about this on their very, very clever publicity stunt where they got people in the sporting crowds to just stand up and smile at the camera with that creepy face. And then
Yeah.
I got pumped for it because I was like, this is really cool. From memory, it didn't deliver. I don't think it
No.
delivered, number one.
No. We shit on it a lot. I gave it a 1.5. You gave it a 2.
Yep. Yeah. So not great.
We
Not
watched
good.
it very early. It was the 21st thing we watched, so it would have been in the first like 7 episodes.
Yeah, right. That early.
Mm,
Well then.
yeah.
Coming full circle, we are,
Hmm.
excuse me, into Smile 2. And I gotta say, they've done better than the first one.
It's fucking great. I don't know. I want to rewatch the first one. I don't understand. I had a really good time.
Yeah. So, again, their publicity stunts for these films, their publicity team needs a raise because they did really, really cool. So, for this film, they actually released the full like pop song for this, and they were like,
Yeah,
this was
which
really,
fucking
really cool.
slapped. The whole
Mm,
dance. There's this dance scene. I got mad at the fucking bad guy entity thing because he interrupted this fucking awesome dance scene.
yeah.
Some of the music in this is awesome, like written for the character. It's great.
Yeah. Also, Naomi Scott, incredible,
So good.
incredible in this.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't seen her in a lot,
no,
but she fucking held the movie together. She's in like every single scene, and her range in this is incredible.
Yeah, like I what has she been in? She was Jasmine in Aladdin.
She's Jasmine and Aladdin. Yeah,
Oh,
that's who
she
people talk
was
about. She
oh,
was
that's
one of the
where I
new.
saw her. She was the Pink Ranger. Oh,
Yes.
and then remember everyone had a crush on the Pink Ranger growing up.
Yeah, Pink Ranger was always a babe.
Yeah.
She was one of the Charlie's Angels in the shitty reboot, the 2019 crappy reboot.
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, she hasn't been in a lot, or like at least not enough to really show her range. But she's fucking great in this.
Right. I
Mm,
didn't even realize that was her from those ones.
no,
That's
so
wow,
fair.
okay. Fair, yeah. Well
I think
then.
that helped, like because it really meant that watching this, she felt like what's her name, Sky Riley. She really felt like Sky Riley because I didn't know her really as an actor outside of this role. So it felt like I was watching a pop star battle with addiction and whatever else.
Yeah.
She was great.
You
Really
guys do
good.
the intro. My dogs are going nuts.
Oh, sure.
Tell us about Smile too.
Easy, easy.
Easy, easy.
Um, so the IMDb is about to embark on a world tour. Global pop sensation Sky Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her past. Um, the first movie focused on, I think, like a was it like a pro bono lawyer or something? And this one is based on, yeah, this like pop idol, which at first I thought was gonna be really like disengaging because I don't care about a fucking pop idol singer, whatever. But actually helped her be more grounded because it was more about her addiction and substance abuse and all that sort of stuff. So I think that actually kind of really helped. Um, but yeah, it's following this one character who starts with her going on the Drew Barrymore show, and she's
I
got really
didn't
short.
expect Drew Barrymore on this either. I was not expecting that.
Is that Boromir?
Mm.
Drew Boromir. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't expect Boromir either. Speaking of Lord of the
We
Rings.
we should just rename people, eh?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
I need to make a list.
I've had
Uh,
quarter of a
yeah,
cider and we're in.
you're right. It starts with Drew Barrymore on her show and introducing her as like a celebrity. Her first interview since her car crash and returning to spotlight and whatever. So we learned that she had this car crash. We learned that she's been at rehab for substance abuse. She's now cut her hair. She find out the reason is because she's been ripping her hair out as part of her stress, which is a term for it, but I forget what it's called. Um, and yeah, she pretty early, because of her substance abuse, can't get like anything stronger than like Tylenol, which is like Panadol for her back pain and whatever. She got scars all over her from a car crash.
I
So
don't
she
know
goes and sees this.
how strong is that? Like in reference, is it like there's what ibuprofen, which is your Panadol level, and then you go like prescription, which is like Panadol for like the stronger stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Like
think that's what
what's
she's going to go get from this guy is those like high end pain meds.
like Vicodin? Isn't that like even stronger? And then morphine from there? Like I don't really know. I'm just
I don't know either. Yeah, I do know there's a black market for like high end painkillers. Because they can, within the right dosage can be not euphoric, but can be like it can be, have drug effects as well, I guess. So yeah, she goes and sees this drug dealer who at the beginning of the movie we saw him in a house as like a side character where this guy runs in trying to, go after these drug dealers, fucking scum people, hoping to pass on the smile demon, which we know from the first movie. But this movie doesn't really. I kind of appreciate this didn't hold your hand with like re-explaining how the demon works and re-explaining that you have 1 week to live after you witness a death, and where the first one really held your hand explaining all that lore. This one didn't.
you
I think
kind of
that's
need that in the first
better
film
for
though.
it. Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it was a bad part. I'm not saying it was something I wish shouldn't have been in the first because you're explaining it. But I'm glad they didn't do it in this because a lot of sequels don't trust the audience in watching the first or even in understanding context or remembering the first. Well, I didn't remember the first really at all.
Mm,
I didn't care about the first.
yeah.
But yeah, this starts strong with a pretty good cold opening and goes into her life, and she witnesses this drug dealer friend of hers kill himself by bashing himself in the face with like a weight plate, like a 20-kilo weight.
And that
Um,
goes for a long time. Like I was like well done to him, like holding it. And I
yeah,
was like, because when it first happened, I'm like, oh, here we go, here's the first death. But it was like
yeah,
slow and like just awkward and like creepy. Like because it was so slow and so awkward, you were like,
yeah,
oh, okay, this is rather than like your shock value, say like Terrifier 3, was it last week? Where it was just like, here's gore, here's blood splatter, here's over the topness. This
yes.
was like the
This is
different
quite
and
mature, quite patient,
yeah.
which I really appreciated.
Besides the ending sort of reveal monster, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've definitely got problems, and I'll get to that later, I guess. So yeah,
But
we she then starts descending into madness.
yeah, like the film does a really good job of well
Hmm.
showcasing that descent into madness. Like she loses the plot, eh? Like the
Yeah,
throughout the entire
100%.
film. Like you don't know what's
Yeah,
real, what's not. And did you pick
yeah,
up the scar on her knee? You know when she like freaks out and she's like, ah, my knee.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the shape of a smile.
Oh, is it? There you go.
Mm,
There you go.
mm.
They do that a lot. Even like there was blood splatter at the start of the movie, which is like an upside down smile, and
It's kind of cool because
yeah,
it's like it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's also like it gives it a nice freshness, I guess, rather than like,
yeah,
oh no, you're possessed. Oh,
and
exorcist
didn't feel
believer.
right. Reference the movie so much, but it didn't feel like annoying either. Like if they the smiles were like everywhere, if this motif was thrown around the place heaps, it'd be more like obnoxious. But it wasn't too
Yeah.
bad. I didn't really I wasn't mad at it.
Even when you see all the people at that one like descent into madness, where like weeping angels, where like every time she's
Yeah,
not
great
looking, they're
moment.
like, yeah, like
Uh-huh.
really cool, really well done.
Yeah. Um, she calls a friend who they had this big falling out and they call each other names. And you can see their texts where they're, calling each other toxic and manipulative and whatever. And she calls a friend. She's like, hey, I need you. And the friend calls her back, like, yeah, I'll be there in an hour or whatever. She rocks up. And yeah, her friend's there to help her. And while she's in that scene, there's this like she's being chased through her house by this creepy guy that she saw at like a signing. Um, I think just while we're talking about that sort of stuff, the jump scares in this are really fucking good.
Hmm.
Like, I think jump scares are lazy, but they didn't feel lazy in this. They felt earned. I
I
think they did a
know
really good job.
they didn't overuse them either. Like they
Mm.
actually made sense. Oh, this guy did the original as well.
Yeah,
So
which is why I want to rewatch the first, because I'm like, how is this one? I really enjoyed this movie, and I
I
shit on
re
the first so much.
yeah, but I reckon he learnt. Like he done what did he do? He did a short Smile was his first feature length, and then this was
Mm.
so like your first one's never going to be perfect, and then you're going to build on that
Yeah,
unless you're Jordan Peele, and then you put out Nope. Nope,
nope's better than Get Out.
nope.
Um, yeah, like I was not excited to watch this, and before I watched it, I happened to see while I was scrolling TikTok, one of the guys I follow talking about it, and it's like it's actually really good, and that it's these aspects are good, whatever. And I was like, yeah, not everything he says I agree with, so I was like, yeah, maybe not. But this fucking slapped.
All right.
They did a really good job in like
They had no
going,
business being good either.
yeah,
Like after whatever the first one was, you got no reason to be good here. I
yeah.
just
This is like top three horrors of the year for me, easy.
I'm
Maybe number
trying
two behind Substance,
to
if you consider
Substance was
Substance a
sick.
horror.
Yeah, I guess God there is. I would say more thriller, I reckon, than horror. I don't know. It's in there somewhere.
Scrolling my list.
Horror thriller. What
Long
other?
Legs was a 3.5. Anyway,
Yeah, long legs. Uh, long legs.
forgettable though. Very
Oh,
forgettable.
I'd forgotten about it. Trying
Yeah.
to
Whereas
remember
this
it.
like
What other
this
horror
sticks in a good
movies did
way.
we watch? I don't think we watched.
Um, Subservience. Is that horror? What was that again?
That was Megan Fox as a robot. So 10.
Oh, they are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's horror. Speak No Evil, probably a horror if you want to call it
yeah.
that. I would consider Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Strange
Yeah.
Darling was oh not Strange Darling, Blink Twice
Strange Darling
was
was good.
Strange Darling's great, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's a horror. Yeah, potentially. Um we've watched a few. Alien Romulus was a horror.
Oh yeah.
Trap,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Trap
sort of a horror.
unfortunately missed the beat though, didn't it? Poor
Yeah,
things.
that could have been a lot better. I still gave it a three, but
Yeah,
yeah, we watched a bit, a little here and there, but I think this has been one of the better ones.
definitely. What issues did you have
Uh,
with it? Did you have many?
yeah, so my biggest issue is just with when same sort of thing I had with Madam Web, where if you create,
so,
I know, a
so
big leap.
that was okay.
Well, Madam Web, right? When you create an omniscient character where they can predict everything, then nothing matters and everything is broken. When you, it's not a similar, it's a similar issue, similar font. Stick with me. Um, when
Let's go.
you when you create a character and you're telling the entire story through the mind of a character who's quote unquote crazy, there's no real rules on what you can and can't get away with. And it also means that there's that really easy story manipulation in like it almost feels like and then I woke up. Like they can go out through give you entire scenes and then it was all in her head. And that's the one thing I have with this. Like there are moments where certain beats in the story didn't matter anymore because it was all in her head. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I think the movie still works because of that, in spite of that. But there are times where I felt a little robbed because I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Spoiler territory, three, two, one. She kills her mother, who, mother kills herself, stabbing herself in the eye and the neck and stuff. And then she has the glass shard in her hand. Turns out she killed her mother. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a really good place to take the movie, and I'm really glad that those things happened. And then she goes to this whole like fucking old Pizza Hut to get to be killed, and then brought back to life by some like paramedic, whatever he was. And all of that was in her head. And then she wakes up like on stage, where she kills herself in front of thousands of people, and they all are then I guess infected.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because that all was sort of redacted, we lost. It just there's all these bits of the story that I was like, oh, so they didn't mean anything. Like, but it did mean something because it's showing us how crazy she is and how much even through her perspective, how out of hand things can be and then be totally redacted and mean nothing. Like necessarily a bad thing because it's psychological horror, but it's just something that I felt was like it's an easy plot device. Is my point. Like I feel
Yeah,
like you can get away with a lot.
I didn't mind that. I my biggest problem was the like demon was like calculated and like self-aware. It was like, I've been waiting for you, sort of like, oh, this is real convenient. You're a pop star. I'm gonna be able to infect everybody. Ha
Mm,
ha ha. I was like, oh, come on, mate. Like,
yeah,
are you like, I don't know, a psychic demon or something or other? Like, what's the like you
yeah.
haven't you didn't establish that in the previous films, and all of a sudden this demon's like self-aware and like able to plot and manipulate all these different things. Like I was like, oh, I just thought this demon wants to jump from body to body. I was like,
Yeah.
that's
Whereas I read
that.
that more as like a sort of like I didn't realize what I wanted till now sort of thing. Like I didn't realize how perfect someone like you would be. But you're right, he just said like I've been waiting for someone like you or waiting for you or something. Made her feel like she was the chosen one or something, which was a weird sort of thing.
Yeah, like rather than just convenience that you've happened to jump into this megastar's body and then
Yeah,
away you
which
go.
it
Like,
is.
yeah, like come on, like just
Yeah.
play it off as convenience. Like I feel like
And that's
after,
really convenient that this fucking isolated drug dealer, the one time he's visited by someone happens to be on the same night that he's meant to be killed by this demon, she happens to rock up. Like it seems a bit too too coincidental for how much fucking like planning he'd supposedly done the entity.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not
right.
wrong.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue. Like I
Yeah.
didn't, even though it is convenient plot point, I think they did it really well. Like rather than go, ah, no, this is you woke up from a dream. Ah,
Hmm.
I thought they did well. The cuts were good. I was like, ah,
Yeah, match cuts are great.
hmm, right,
And some really long one takes. Like the whole opening was a one take.
yeah.
Um,
Also,
yeah, some of the cinematography is fucking great.
also her dances like that was really cool. Like watching her like
Yeah,
get turned or like cartwheeled in the air with all the
yeah.
people. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've seen that before.
And some
That was
nice
really
nice
cool.
foreshadowing. There's a scene later where she's like flying through the air, and even with her car crash, her being upside down and the world keeps flipping. Like there's a lot of really good, clever sort of cinematography and moments where I'm like, this is not what I expected. Just yeah, I was just surprised. Cinematography is
Right.
really good. The music's really good. Like it's the foreshadowing is really really clever. Like I don't, there isn't a lot that I, little plot points here and there, but for what it is, it's surprisingly great.
It was slightly long. Like I wouldn't have minded it to wrap up at the 145, 150 rather than pushing into the
I
two
don't, I
hours.
don't, I don't think so. I didn't mind. I didn't feel like it was too long at all. I was
Mm,
surprised how much. Because when I first opened it and saw it was like 210, whatever it was, 25 or whatever it said, I was like, damn, I don't really want to watch. It's a long time watching this. Whatever. I feel like a drag. There was no moments where I'd touch my screen to try and see how long it was until I finished.
okay. Maybe
Something less than I can say about Rippy.
maybe it's just me. Maybe
It's so weird because the cinematographer in this did Night Swim, and Night Swim, like
really.
I wouldn't say it looked bad, but like there was no fucking like style to Night Swim. There's a lot of style to this.
It's crazy
So
that
strange.
well the director wrote it as well. Like he
Parker
this is
Finn, yeah.
yeah, like this is his baby.
Where I would watch more Parker Finn films now.
Well, yeah,
This
considering
is
well, he's one from two, so uh,
I want to rewatch number one. I want to
okay.
go back and see if it's as shit as I remember, or if I was just being mean because I don't like boring horror and I made it worse in my head. Like I don't know. I wanna I wanna review and let myself experience it with this one in mind. You
Okay.
know.
Yeah, fair, fair. Yeah.
I'm at a four.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
think
at,
that's is way
yeah.
higher than I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I'm at a four as well. Like I
Yeah,
quite enjoyed it. Just
it's
just too convenient for a demon though. Too convenient.
yeah, it's not a five. Like I keep seeing some of the reviews saying like a terrifying masterpiece and things like that. Like, and I think the like jump scares are masterful, and some
Hmm.
of the little like details here and there are pretty masterful, but it's not a masterpiece. I think it'll calm down a little bit. That word's thrown around way too much.
Yeah, I think well, with Naomi Scott, people are throwing around. She deserves an Oscar for this. I was like,
Yeah,
I
she's
think
really good,
I think she did
but
incredible. Like I think this is going to boost her
yeah,
career like massively compared to what did she do? Like Aladdin, Power
for
Rangers. Like
sure.
now she's going to get the chance to be able to like work towards an
Yeah.
Oscar.
Well,
But
this movie alone could just be her entire demo reel could be scenes from this movie.
yeah,
Like she's shown more range in this than I think she's shown. Well, again, I haven't seen a lot of it, so I can't really talk. But she showed a lot of range in this, being able to be really like elated at moments and really likable. And there are certain moments where you really she's a fucking piece of shit, and like
yeah.
she caused the car crash because she's drug fueled. And oh my god, I couldn't. One, sorry, this is a very me
Mhm.
problem. I hated her drinking water. Her swallowing was so loud. I had to mute my fucking screen every single time she started drinking.
Oh, you love it, don't you?
I hate the sound of people swallowing. And it was like it was intentionally obnoxious. Like it was loud swallowing because it represented her like drug abuse and, you know, intention to regress and whatever, but couldn't stand it. I fucking hate the sound of big gulps.
I don't think I've ever seen this Charlie's Angels, the 2019 one. I don't reckon I watched it. It was Kirsten
I've
Stewart.
yeah, I've watched enough YouTube videos tearing it to shit that I've more or less seen the whole thing.
I couldn't imagine it's good. I mean,
No, it's pretty garbage.
the original one wasn't good, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but the original one was campy. Original one was like they knew what they were making. It was silly. Like, one of the characters sniffed hair. Like it was silly and awful. Whereas they tried to make a reboot, made everyone badasses and like,
Was it
you're casting Drew Barrymore and what's her fucking name? What's the blonde
Cameron
one? Like,
Diaz?
Cameron Diaz. Like they were comedy actors. They did shit like afterwards. They did like, 51st Days and crap like that. Like it was they hired comedy actors, whereas this one they tried to hire like bombshells and that's why Sydney Sweeney wasn't in it.
No, she wasn't on the scene yet.
That's true. On
Mm.
the Sween yet.
Mm. So
Yeah,
yeah,
surprisingly good. Would recommend.
go and see it if
Mm.
you don't even. You should probably watch the first one. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessary. I think you get enough out of this. You don't need to know all the rules.
fair, fair. Yeah. All right, it is that time of the hour that we're going to be looking at the woman of the hour. Bum, bum, bum. I didn't realize that this was a based on a true story.
Sure is.
I just assumed it was, I don't know, a new storytelling, which is an interesting way to go for your directorial debut, I
Mm.
thought.
Supposedly it was already in the works, and then the director pulled out and it nearly died. And she was like, "Well, I believe in the project, so I'm going to take over."
Oh,
That's how I've done a lot of research because I love true crime, and this is a story I'd heard about,
okay.
but this sort of gave me interest in it. So I went and watched a bunch of YouTube and some podcasts, and pretty well versed in the full story now.
Okay, that's pretty cool. This it made the local radio on Nova here.
All right.
They were talking about it, and then it just turned into them sort of loving bagging Anna Kendrick. It was a weird segment. They went from like talking about the true crimes segment about the actual show to then just being like, does anyone actually like her? Like she's in Pitch Perfect, and then she was really cool, but then after that, that was just it was so bizarre. It was a weird segment. I don't
You're
even know why
right.
I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but I did. So we're here.
Yeah, I don't
We're here
dislike
now.
her.
Yeah, I think she's kind of cool. I like her.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's fashionable to shit on celebrities though. That's a problem.
right. Anyway, we've
Anyway,
got Cheryl Bradshaw, a single woman looking for a suitor on a hit 1970s TV show, chooses charming bachelor Rodney. How do I say his last name?
Alcala.
Alcala, unaware that behind the man's gentle facade, he hides a deadly secret. Bom, bom, bom.
Already that's wrong because she didn't go on the show to find a partner, a suitor.
Right?
So, good job.
Oh well. Anyway, I guess that's the tagline they're running with. So we have Cheryl, who's like an aspiring actress trying to get a gig, needs to be able to like bump herself up and get seen. So her agent's like, "Yo, do you know what you can do? Go on this dating show so you'll be seen." And then as we're going, we're getting drip fed bits and pieces of our leading killer man, Rodney,
Yep.
who is a aspiring photographer, or it just seems to be a convenient. I don't know if that. I'm assuming he was a photographer and
Yep, he
whatever.
was. Yep, yep.
Okay, yeah. So he's an aspiring photographer. He likes to find women and then sort of sweet talk his way and like
Hmm.
cruise his way in and take pictures of them and then murder them.
Yep. Yep,
Which
yep.
in your true crime thing, because they sort of alluded to it a number of times, is this for
Mm.
sexual gratification? Because I watched a lot of Criminal Minds, and then serial
Yeah,
killers
he
that
was.
generally do it for
Yep.
like sexual gratification or like power manipulation or something or other. So
Yep, yep. He was diagnosed with well, at the time they had a name for it, but now it would be sociopathic, where you don't feel remorse or guilt for hurting other people and stuff.
was there a point where he did? Because there was a point where he was like laying down and like crying.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. Even the way he was caught was inaccurate in this, which we'll get to.
Okay,
But yeah, I don't think that him crying after having hurt the woman is accurate. Like according to what I know about the real guy, that's not in his nature at all
okay,
to feel any sort of guilt. But yes, it was sexual gratification. He had a like a control kink, more or less.
yeah, yeah. So
Power.
yeah, he manipulates his way in, takes photos, and then does his does his business, and then murders them. So we get Cheryl. She's trying to get seen by agent and jumps onto this dating show, and then this dating show kicks off. and it's like her navigating her way in the ins and outs of this dating show with like
Yeah.
sort of talking to the cast and then trying to, deal with her. She's kind of having an internal monologue of like, should she really be doing this or not? Like, does she
Yeah,
actually want to
yeah.
be on there? And
And should
then,
she keep just reading out the questions that she's been handed, or should she, should she be herself, or should she be what the masses want her to be?
yeah, look,
Part of her inner dialogue.
saw it coming, but I actually quite liked it when she went rogue. Like, it was,
Yeah, to me that was a bit of a disconnect because it was like I don't think it suited the rest of the movie. It was a cool scene and I liked it because it was like, yeah, fucking show these dumb men how smart you are. But it almost felt like a comedy section in the when the
mm,
rest of the movie was like really not at all. It felt a little bit like a disconnect. And that to me felt like a scene that Anna Kendrick herself put in. Because when you watch I watched the whole episode of the real episode of the dating game on YouTube, and nothing like that happens at all.
oh,
She
really?
just she just
It was,
reads out a few questions, and
it was
the
like
real
dead.
the real
It was deadpan, was
gone.
it? Like delivery was like the actual
Yeah, oh,
show.
not deadpan. She was like, flirty, and the whole show is built on innuendos.
Hmm.
She's flirty and saying like, if you were a meal, what would you be? And things like that. Like it was, she had some personality, but it was just, the run of the mill dumb sort of questions had nothing to do. Yeah, there was no like, what's nuclear physicist, blah blah blah, like bullshit that Anna Kendrick's character did.
Yeah. And was the old mate, was Rodney as smooth as he was in real life as
No,
he was on the show?
no, and all the reports I heard about him as well, he came across really creepy. People often said
Huh?
that he had like a creepy demeanor. He was attractive, but he was creepy. Um, I don't think he was as suave and as smooth talking as the show made him out to be. And like in the show, they made him like one of the things is Anna Kendrick's character is like, what are women for? And he's like, oh, ask a woman. Like it's not to me to decide that sort of thing. Whereas the only questions he's asked in the in the actual show was, what meal would you be? And he says, I'd be a banana. Open, peel me open or something like that. And another question, which was like another, innuendo sort of bullshit. Um, Nothing where it was him trying to like, be real smooth and being really like feminist sort of energy, like he was in what we watched.
Uh,
So
were they just
yeah,
trying to like, I don't know, modernize it slightly? Who knows?
I think so. And give because the whole episode, like his section in the original is 10 minutes and he
Oh,
maybe says 15 words, it's really short and really
yeah.
nothing. So that obviously, dramatize it a little bit and add some more to it. And
Did he win?
one thing that was accurate, yes, he did. Yeah, he was picked at the end. Um, but again, just like in this though, which actually was an accuracy too, was they didn't go out on they won a day on like a whole day at Magic Mountain, and the girl
Magic
was like, no,
Mountain.
right? The girl was like, no, he's creepy, and she didn't go on a date with him. Just like the character in this one as well. So,
Yeah.
and the other contestants did say that when the cameras off and stuff, he'd say he was creepy and he came across as like dangerous, but that was after he'd been convicted. So it's pretty easy to
Let's
be like, oh,
say, yeah.
I could tell from the start he was dangerous or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether you could or not, who knows? But
Okay.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
some liberties
Hmm.
taken creatively, but it's what to
Yeah.
be expected.
Look, overall, it tells a reasonable story.
Hmm.
Obviously, without the knowledge of what the actual real life events were. Like
Yep.
I quite liked it. Like it tells a quite a nice sort of story as it
Yep.
progresses. Like you get a like he's quite smooth talking, and then
Hmm.
he wins the dating show obviously because they have a nice back and forth. And then as soon as they're sort of alone, you're like, oh, okay, like here we go. Here's the creepiness of it, and
Yep.
you progress through it. It's what you kind of expect, and then at the end you also get the this is what happened. This is the amount of cases. It's a lot. It was like what suspected 130 something.
130. Yeah. Which is still yet to be proven. He died in Shit, I'm trying to recall. I know he was
In
convicted in 2011. Finally, it took
he
that
died
long.
in incarceration.
He did, yep, at 77. But I forget if it was 2016 from memory. But it was 2011 until he was finally convicted of multiple, and he was convicted, sentenced to death, and then he died on death row. Um, yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those things where there's obviously a lot more to it than we know.
Yeah.
Um, this is pre-DNA. Now they've, I think now what is happening, they're connecting all these unsolved murders to him,
Oh,
and that's why they're like 130, could be upwards of that. So he was only I think charged originally for like 14 or something, but he had that's the thing, like, and why it was crazy because he had at the point of being on the show, he was he was jailed for 36 months for a kidnap of a minor and assault of a minor. He was jailed for attempted murder of a woman, and again, that was in like a couple of years. Um, it was never convicted for murder, but a lot of things that we now know would be, early warning signs of a murderer, a serial murderer. And back then, he got like 36 months here, 48 months there. Like he was ever in jail for longer than a couple of years. And he was in and out of jail a lot. He changed his name a few times and had a his father was a piece of shit supposedly and left him and his mum pretty early. He moved around a lot because of that. So there are some truth there too, but yeah, it's crazy to think that someone could do all these things wrong, and then go on like the show like the dating game, uh, yeah, and get away with all of it, and then like you saw in this, he got arrested and he made bail, and then while he was off bail, he killed more people. I think three more women died because of him being let out, and he was brought back in and whatever, which is true as well. And that's what this whole thing. That's one thing I like about this is it wasn't about a murderer. It was more about the victims and survivors. I think what made this strong was it's a feminist story. It's about in the 70s how men did not listen to women. No matter how many women were crying out for the same thing, there is a serial rapist murderer on the loose. They just didn't take them seriously, or they were like, oh, there's not enough evidence, or they just didn't, women weren't listened to back then the way they are now. Or even now, there's still a lot of holes, obviously, as well. So that's where I think this is strongest, is it's sort of like feminine sort of themes and about women not being listened to and all sort of stuff. But yeah, there are definitely holes, and knowing the real story maybe sort of like, about this a bit more.
yeah. Look, I liked it, but
Yeah, me too.
with all these things, like always seem to glorify the serial killer. Like the serial killer always seems to come across more sort of like suave or whatever than what real accounts sort of account for, I guess. But
Yeah, I think he was. Whereas like the Ted Bundy, like he was crazy manipulative, and because he was so handsome and he was so charismatic. Whereas from what the accounts I've heard about this guy, he was attractive, but when you spoke to him for a little while, you realized he was a creep, and that's what I've
yeah,
heard a lot.
okay, yeah.
So
So I don't know. If I was gonna watch one of these ones, I still prefer to watch Blackbird. Blackbird is one of my favorites.
sure, just haven't seen. I know
It's
you're
like
telling me to.
it's six episodes, but like
Hmm.
I guess you've got what an hour and a half in this. You got to try and tell a reasonable story. She does pretty well. Again, you're mainly focusing on Cheryl, and you get a bit of Laura's story in there as well, who's the one that's
Hmm.
in the audience and is telling the story of her friend who was murdered. So like you get all of that, but
Yeah,
if I was going to watch one of these type of shows telling a story, it would be Blackbird. Like I still enjoyed
that's
it.
fair. Yeah, yeah. I still really liked it, and it was one of those. I mean, for me to like it enough to then the next day, I watched this on Tuesday or Wednesday, and the next day at work, it's like all I researched and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and listened to podcasts, like I said earlier. So, obviously it's good enough that made me want to go find out more about the real story. But there are other tellings of this story already, which I've heard are better.
Okay.
Um, I would have really liked. one thing I was thinking of later in the week, it would be interesting if we as an audience didn't know, if we didn't see his face, if we just saw this person was out killing women and we didn't see his face or anything, and then when we watched the dating game, we were like trying to figure out which one of them was the man who was dangerous. Because one of the lines that one of the makeup ladies says is like, the question underneath the question is always the same: which one of you will hurt me? And it would be nice as an audience member to also think, okay, which one of you is going to hurt me? Um, but I'm not sure if that would have made it better or worse, or it would just been interesting. I think
Hmm.
would have given this movie more of a gimmick because it's going to be a bit of a fart in the wind. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like I wouldn't revisit it. So it's like
Yeah,
a
I'd recommend it to the right audience, like my true crime friends, the people I know would like this stuff, like my sister and my friend Ash. I've told them to watch it,
yeah.
but yeah, for me it's 3.5. I think it's good enough to be better than a three. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I thought it was a three. Yeah, like
Yeah, that's fair.
it was good. But I wasn't like, oh wow, whatever. Like it's fine. Go watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of interesting, let's go opposite direction.
Let's jump into our newest Australian film. Man,
Yeah.
we don't do
I
we don't do good cinema here, very rarely.
was thinking of Damo the whole time, how much he would hate the acting in this.
Oh, mate, mate. I think that there is an Australian zombie film that just absolutely takes the piss. I think it's called like Undead or something or other, and it's just
Sure.
it's so Australian and so bad. It's just like delivering one-liners, like
Right.
intentionally bad. Like it's actually quite funny. But
Okay.
this is trying to play a standard horror trope movie the entire way through.
Yeah.
And
One of if I quickly read out what I wrote for my letterbox review, I watched this hoping for one of three entertaining scenarios. One, it's a comedy horror leaning into the camp of a zombie kangaroo because it's fucking zombie kangaroo. Like it lean into that. Two, it's so bad it's good, full of terrible acting and ridiculous moments. Or three, being surprisingly great, full of talent and interesting choices. Disappointingly, it was none of these. I really
yeah.
wanted to enjoy it.
Yep. So obsessed with living up to a dead father's legacy. Like, why? Why can't we just have a zombie kangaroo or whatever?
I know.
It didn't even really play into it, but whatever. Besides,
No, it was that's the weakest part. So I
it's
don't give a
like
fuck about any of this.
it's like you're the chosen one. You're going to be able to stop the kangaroo. A young sheriff finds her metal tested when locals are found ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
Just why? Why? I thought this was gonna be like just this random as kangaroo just like coming in and just ripping like over the top gore. Like
Yep.
this is what I was expecting.
There's gonna be maybe a minute and a half of that. There is some
Yeah,
of that, but there isn't much.
no. But like I was expecting over the top like cocaine bear style, like just ridiculousness. But
Yeah.
this just went, all right, this is the horror tropes. This is what we're going to hear. This is the story beats, and we're going to run this as textbook as possible, but do it really, really
Yeah.
badly. It's
Yeah.
like you've given
Definitely.
it's like you've given someone the script, the storyboards, the ideas, the time schedules, and it's like, off you go create it. And they were like, I've watched horror before, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
away they go.
Yeah, it
And
takes itself way too seriously. Like it's a movie about a fucking CGI kangaroo that kills people. Like
yeah, yeah,
that's that sounds so fun on the surface, and it really wasn't. It was
no.
very boring.
But even like the most exciting part is when you finally get to see the zombie kangaroo, and they don't even do it good. Like it sounds like a generic dinosaur like growling. It's like, what is this? Like this is not a kangaroo sound. What is happening? So
Yeah.
like when they're like barricading themselves into the hotel
The
or the
pub.
pub or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is, and they're like, "No, everyone's rocking up," and they're like, "Quick, get in, barricade yourself in." And then the kangaroo finally does its like big stand up, and then there's like roaring like a dinosaur. Like I don't know
Hmm.
if you guys have ever heard a kangaroo, but they don't sound
But
like
it's a
that.
zombie kangaroo. You never heard a zombie kangaroo
Yeah, but
before.
zombies don't sound like dinosaurs.
Zombie kangaroos do.
What? So what are you guys thinking?
Yeah,
So I was like, "Oh,
and
okay.
the CGI is obviously awful. Like again,
Oh,
it should have been fucking puppetry.
yeah. So the director has done four things, two shorts
Yep,
and Waterborne. Oh no, it's done
which is
three
also a
short.
short. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is his first feature length, and
Well,
it shows because the pacing is fucking awful. Like they pad out so much. It's less than 80 minutes, by the way. And it's
like,
padded out so much. Like I watched this today and I watched fucking Smile 2 last night. Smile 2 is like over an hour longer. Oh no, it's about an hour longer. And it went way faster than this. This dragged like a motherfucker.
right. Is Waterborne where they were like, oh, okay, we're going to get okay, so here we go. So waterborne is when a local ranger in a small country town finds an unidentified algae overwhelming the town's water supply. He knows something's not right, but it's not until the sun goes down that he discovers the true extent of the danger. It seems the town is about to experience the effect of a mysterious infection that turns not only humans but animals too into zombies. So he's
Oh,
following on from
so it's
this.
same sort of garbage. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he's going, oh, do you know what we can do?
Let's
We
make a
can,
feature length. I'm
yeah,
talented enough for that.
yeah. Oh man. So what did oh,
Yeah. And they don't
for
show any of
that
like
goes
when
for
dead
8 minutes.
bodies are the waterborne.
Hmm.
Yeah, right.
This could have went for 8 minutes.
This would have been better in 8 minutes. So many times someone would die, it happened off camera, and then they would show the body next scene, and it would just be like, underneath a tarp, or underneath a blanket, or like behind some bushes, or they were so lazy. Like there's fucking all the little constraints, all the little things they did to try and hide how fucking cheap this was made.
All right.
Like, come on.
And oh my God, the like last scene. Like, what are you guys doing? You're not setting up for a sequel, are you? Like, surely
Yeah,
not.
they definitely are. They
But
definitely are.
like, why? Surely
The
this
zombie
is
people, because
it's
I don't
like
know.
this is not going to take off, boys. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, they're hoping, really hoping.
All right. Just needs luck
Um,
though.
the whole way through, the cop's fucking name. Oh, I'm bringing this shit up. The cop character, where the fuck her name was. Um, she reminded me of Dexter's sister in the show Dexter,
Oh, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee. Yeah, she
Yeah.
reminds me of her so much.
Okay.
Just an Aussie accent. All I can
Yeah.
think of. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Um, what else is there? The for me, the part I did laugh at, the most unrealistic part was that when she was driving at the kangaroo, it jumped out of the way. Fucking kangaroos are the dumbest cunts on the planet. If you drive at them, they just stand there and stare at the car.
Oh, kangaroos do my head in because you can't predict where they're gonna go. Like
No.
if they're there, you're like, oh, if I go
Do I
this
try to go
way, and then
around? Yeah.
they jump like across, and
They
you're like,
jump
what are you
into the
doing?
fucking car every time.
Uh, they're just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's not
Also,
even moments like I wanted to come into this and be like, oh, I remember this moment, remember that moment, like, oh, that was funny, but there's nothing funny. It's so boring.
right, and the zombie kangaroo is immune to bullets, but
Yeah, at the fucking the whole time at the movie, at the end when they're with the fucking in the bar, I'm looking at the axes behind the bar. I'm like, grab the axe, cut its head off, grab the axe. It's a zombie, cut its fucking head off. It's a zombie. Have these cunts never seen zombie movies? I don't
no,
understand how people are so dumb with zombies. We we know in air quotes what would kill a zombie, and yet we see shit like this and they never do it, or they do it like right at the end, like it was a fucking genius idea. I'm staring at these fucking axes for 10 minutes in this boring scene while they're hiding behind a bar. And they tried shoehorning in this romance between what's his name, Schmitty and the fucking woman.
Mitty Matty.
Like, I don't care about their fucking divorce and like who gives a shit? I'm not watching it for that. Who
Well,
fucking cares?
also like the whole like what is it? The narrative or the voiceover of like, ah, my dad would live up to be a hero.
Yeah, and then it turned out he was a drunk and he just fell in the water when it like yeah, she's like, "Oh, you lied to me. He died by just being drunk, not saving my life." It's like, I don't care about you. I don't care about your fucking dad. It means
No.
nothing to the narrative.
Like every character in this felt like these are my mates I've pulled off the street. Like I've just door knocked down my neighborhood going,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want $100 for the day? Like,
But if you look up their IMDb, they've been in movies, like or TV shows. Like Tess Horbridge, she was in The Wolverine, Alien Covenant. Um, that's about it. Wolf Creek, good movies.
she was a
Michael,
cashier in the Wolverine.
I know she's an extra and everything, like a talking extra. Michael Bean or Bain, or the fuck you pronounce it, was in Aliens, The Terminator, The Rock, Alien 3. Like he's done some shit. Scorpion King.
As what though? What's
Um,
Scorpion King?
again, as nothing characters.
Oh, Kyle
But you know,
Reeves. He was Kyle Reeves in the Terminator. That's not a
oh, there
nothing
you go.
part.
There you go. But they're awful in this. He was one of the worst fucking characters.
Yeah,
He's in fucking Mandalorian. Is that Mandalorian?
yeah.
Mandalorian. Yeah, no shit. But he's awful in this. I don't get how like this man has been in decent things and has been hired for his acting ability, but in this is so fucking every scene he was in, I was like just rolling my eyes at how fucking awful he was.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
this was
what
shit.
was.
This
I
is
don't know
really
what was
not
happening with it,
entertaining.
which
I'm
is
clutching at
disappointing.
straws and trying to think of funny moments to talk about.
There wasn't any. That's the point.
No, it was boring as fuck.
Yeah. Would you watch this or Exodus Believer?
This because it's shorter.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'd watch. Yeah, look, I think this is still has some like laughable moments. I did giggle a couple times at them, not with them.
Oh,
Um,
I knew I was in for a rough time when she was like, uh, something about the eggs. I was like, oh, where's my eggs? Double yolk. Oh, you're trying to extort me. I was
oh
like,
yeah, and
oh,
that guy on
mate.
the tractor, he's an actor I recognize as well from
I was
Aussie
like,
shit.
I'm like, we're in for a rough time here. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, oh, it was hard. I can't even remember the line. It was that bad.
yeah, I watched it fucking a couple of hours ago. And I already forgotten about
I
it.
lit I literally finished it before starting this, and
Yeah,
God, I was like, this is shocking. This is shocking.
yeah.
It's like half a star. Like it's
Uh,
bad.
damn, I must have been in a good mood, but I gave it a 1.5.
Oh wow.
But I'm trying to think of why. Fuck you. I liked hearing magpies. I like
Yeah,
hearing
right.
Aussie accents. Yeah, one. Fuck you.
It's not good. It's
No,
not
it's
good.
it's very nothing. I want it to be. It could, like I said, it could be interesting in three ways, and it was none of those ways. I did not give a shit.
I reckon this will actually do well in America.
Yeah, I mean, Americans. I don't know, this weird obsession with like things that feel super Aussie, and this being set out
Aussies,
in the country and Aussie.
kangaroos.
See
Like
that show about that zombie kangaroo?
they'll actually love it, eh? There's no doubt
Probably.
in my mind that they'll be like, kangaroos, this is how they live. That's I don't know what accent that
Saw
was.
that Rippy? That thing was crazy. That's a big fucking roo, huh?
Like Skippy the kangaroo didn't do that well in Australia. It did not do
No,
great.
I
It
never
did
watched it growing up, but
it
like
did really well overseas.
supposedly, which is bizarre to me.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It was boring as hell. It was like less entertaining Lassie. It was
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Yeah, no,
Disappointing.
bad movie. Boring
Oh,
movie.
they
Nothing
should
movie.
they should have had a man in a kangaroo suit being the bloke,
Would been way better. It would been
right?
so funny. Like imagine this down like a campy road. Not down this far road, obviously, but like fucking like hundreds of beavers. Where it's just silly and like but the zombie like you said, you got fucking a man in a kangaroo suit and he's ripping people apart and there's fucking organs and shit spilling out. Like this could have been so campy and silly.
Could have been
I
good,
would have had way better time with it.
but it was
That's
not.
or I wanted it to be like Guns of Eden awful. where it's
Yeah.
just so poorly made that it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I don't know, it's just some of the
So,
actors weren't terrible and the writing was boring and I don't care about nothing that happened.
right. Disappointing.
Never again.
No. But hopefully next week is better because we
Hope
have
so.
Venom: The Last Dance.
That
Lawson's
won't be.
all right. Venom's first movie. Lawson's first Venom movie.
Yep.
And then we have Time Cut, which is virtually a not a remake, but like a very similar movie to one we've already watched on the podcast. But this one, they're going
Yeah.
back in time again. But
Totally
just
Killer was one we watched last
yeah,
time. That was back in the 80s she went
yep,
back to.
yeah. That
This
was
goes
actually
back to 2003.
yeah, that was really fun. Totally Killer. I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, wasn't bad.
And then we've got because it is Halloween Thursday, we have a
Mm.
Carved, which is out on Disney Plus for us, which is I think it's a star one for everyone else. So looks fun. It's got DJ
Qualls. Yeah. DJ
Wiles, yeah.
Qualls.
I haven't seen him for a very long time.
No.
Yeah. He was big on the scene he had like a stint of 4 or 5 movies all in a row, and they got pushed hard, and then he dropped
I
off.
love New Guy.
New
I
Guys was
still
fun.
watch New Guy. Yeah.
Because that's got Elizabeth, or I can never say her name, but she was Faith, the second Slayer, because Buffy dies at the end of season one, and then
Oh, is
because
that right?
when you die,
Eliza
what
Dushku.
yeah,
Hmm.
when a Slayer dies, then a new one is born, but because she gets resuscitated, there's
Yeah.
two Slayers, and then Faith is
There's
like
also
goes down a bad route. She's in Bring
I need
It
to
On.
watch more Buffy. I might watch more of it actually because there are some episodes that I can remember, but even without having seen it properly,
I love Buffy. I
I
loved
know
it.
you do. Yeah. There's also like New Guy had a very early Zoe Deschanel.
Oh, did it? What did she play?
Yeah.
Did she,
She's like one of the kids at the school.
did she have a fringe? Because it's weird seeing her without her fringe.
Let me see if I can find. Yeah, I don't think she did.
Because in New Girl,
No, she has like ginger hair and it's like a side part.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, she's like
Ah,
she's the nerdy one part of like their little nerdy group.
oh,
She wears like pigtails and
there you go.
yeah, she wasn't like one of the hot ones like Dushku.
Yeah, I mean, oof. Yeah,
Fuck, I
but
need to rewatch. I need to rewatch. What's that on? Is that anything? Let's
what's
watch New
that?
Guy instead.
New Girl.
Yeah,
Who was his mentor? Griffin. What was his
Eddie
character?
Griffin.
He was
Yeah,
like, huh.
his name was Luther in the show. What's it on? It's on Netflix. No? Oh, I need to watch this soon, man. The movie is so fun.
Oh, is
Those
she
movies are
not?
like my wife and I watch.
Is she Nora?
Yes.
Yeah. Is she also in Elf?
Yeah, she is. She's
Yeah.
like she works as an elf at
She's
the
the
fucking,
she's the love interest.
yeah, I think so. Another movie where Zoe Deschanel plays the love interest for someone way too old for her. Just like Yes
Yes,
Man.
man. Yeah. I actually like Yes
Yeah.
Man though.
I like Yes Man too. I always found it a bit weird that she's the love interest when Jim Carrey feels like he's 20 years older than her.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
But yeah, we're watching Carved. DJ Qualls is in it,
Yeah. Yeah.
amongst others.
Yeah. Those gone are those days of like all the American Pie coming of age, like just straight to DVD
Yeah,
releases. Like they pump them so hard. Like they must have been
there's a lot
so
of them.
easy and so quick to make.
The teen movies, yeah.
Yeah. They might
And
still be
there's
around, but they're not something I look for anymore, I guess.
no, but that now I think teen movies now all have like their own sort of unique font. Whereas there was that period like mid 2000s to early 2000s where everything felt like the same movie, shit like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like Road Trip and Euro Trip and all that shit. Like,
The Girl Next
there's a
Door
reason
and
that yeah, there's
yeah.
a reason that not another teen movie exists.
I
which
actually
is also surprisingly good. Yeah.
I quite like that one. But then all the spin-offs were pretty average. I didn't mind the hero one where they did the parody of all the hero movies. I actually didn't mind that one.
Epic is it epic movie?
Could have been an epic movie. Where he was like the
Never.
dragonfly and he was like so useless.
No, I
It
remember that one.
had the guy, he was like a Nickelodeon one. It was like their buddy, like
Oh,
um the guy
oh, what the fuck was that?
Josh and Drake or something or other.
Yeah, Drake and Josh. But what the fuck movie was that? Oh my God, I need to find this out now. Not even
Uh
search.
no, so it's not epic movie. Epic movie was that was just a spoof on all of the big
Yeah, that was a spoof
movies.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Um there's
Is this
Disaster
literally a superhero
movie.
movie?
Meet the Spartans, that was shocking.
Meet the Spartans was hot garbage. There was literally one called superhero movie. Is that one?
Yeah, I think it could be.
Yeah, yeah, and it had Drake Bell. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mind that one.
I don't think I've seen that literally since it came out. I don't remember it. Had Pamela Anderson in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, she's in majority of those ones.
She has a few of them. Yeah, she's in even some scary movies as well.
Yeah,
I remember Meet the Spartans. Like, there's one thing where I still quote to this day. Right at the beginning, he's out in the wilderness as a Spartan and whatever, and he gets a Subway sandwich, and he's like, "No mayo, this is bullshit." I still quote that.
okay. That's
Besides that,
it's a bizarre reference.
yeah, that's still one of those things that if I was with my friends from high school, they'd get that instantly.
Right.
But I quote that all the time.
Yeah. No, this one was actually alright because it just made fun of all the superhero movies.
Yeah, might rewatch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to see New Guy again. I'm gonna find out where that is. It's not on Netflix. I need to find out where it is.
Mm.
New Guy's fucking so funny.
But yeah, you know what to do. If you if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star rating. Listen on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends, tell them all,
Tell
tell
your
them all.
friends.
And we'll see you guys next time, boys.
Love you.